loves. Welcome to Life's Just Cray. I'm Kate, and this is where we talk through real life situations that have you up until 2 a.m. talking with your bestie like, okay, but what would you do though? Real situations, real talk, no fluff. My grandma always said you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And that's exactly how I move on this show. Everything I say comes from my own experience, and I'm not a professional, but I'm also not here to tell you what to do. But it might help. Identity is on the table, City Loves, and this one is going to hit closer to home than most people expect.
I built my entire adult life around a very clear sense of who I was. My career and relationship defined me. The version of myself that showed up in every room was consistent and recognizable, and I took a quiet pride in that. When people asked how I was doing, I always had an answer that felt true. I knew who I was, and I knew what I was building, and for a long time that felt like more than enough. It felt like stability. It felt like proof that I had figured something out that a lot of people were still searching for. I was not someone who struggled with identity. That was never my thing. Until suddenly it was. Within the span of about 18 months, almost all of it changed. My relationship of 6 years ended. Not dramatically. Not with a single moment I can point to. Just a slow and honest recognition that we had stopped growing in the same direction and that staying would have cost us both more than leaving. I left a career I had spent a decade building because it stopped feeling like mine in a way I could not keep ignoring. The work that used to energize me had started to feel like something I was performing rather than something I actually believed in. And I moved to a new city where I knew almost nobody because something in me believed that a clean slate was what I actually needed. Each of those decisions made complete sense at the time, and I stand behind all of them. But I underestimated what it would feel like to make all of them at once. I did not account for what it would cost me on the inside. I thought I was shedding things that no longer fit. What I did not anticipate was how much of my sense of self was tied up in those things without me ever fully realizing it. I had outsourced my identity to my circumstances without knowing that was what I was doing. And now that those circumstances are gone, I am left with a version of myself I do not fully recognize. I do not know who I am outside of the things I used to be. I wake up in the morning and the person looking back at me in the mirror is someone I recognize physically but cannot fully locate in any deeper way. I have freedom I never had before, and I do not know what to do with it. I have space to become something new, and I cannot figure out what that is supposed to look like, or how you even begin to find out when there is no structure left to push against. Some days the quiet almost feels like possibility. Most days it just feels like absence. People keep telling me this is exciting, that this is my chance to start fresh and discover myself and build something completely on my own terms. And I understand why it looks that way from the outside. But from the inside, it does not feel like freedom. It feels like standing in the middle of a room where all the furniture has been removed and being told to enjoy the open space. Who are you when everything you used to be is gone, and you have not yet figured out what comes next?
Change is scary. I don't care how ready you think you are for it or how much you chose it. When you've been living one way for a decade or more, and suddenly the whole landscape shifts, the disorientation you're feeling isn't weakness. And it's not a sign that you made a wrong decision either. It's just what it feels like to be a human being standing in the middle of something that genuinely is new, after a long time of knowing exactly where everything was. But here's what I also know. Change is one thing that is going to push you forward and show you what you're actually capable of in a way that staying comfortable never really could. The version of you that existed inside that relationship and that career and that city was real. But she was also protected from ever having to find out who she really was without all those things holding her up. And now you get to find out. That's not punishment. That's actually the whole point of life. There's this proven concept that doing something consistently for about 2 weeks begins to make it feel normal. Your brain starts to adjust. The unfamiliar starts to become familiar. So, while waiting feels disorienting and foreign right now, I want you to understand that this feeling has a shelf life. You're not going to feel this lost and out of place forever. You just have to give yourself enough time and enough new experiences to start building a new one on top of all that fell away. And about the new city, stop trying to make new friends. And I mean that sincerely. The pressure of trying to build a connection intentionally can make every interaction feel like an audition. And that energy is exhausting for everyone involved. Instead, just be open. Show up to things. Say yes when you would normally say no. Let conversations go where they would without trying to engineer them into something. You'll be surprised with how much connection finds you when you stop chasing it and start being present in the spaces that you occupy. And I want to leave you with something that I think about a lot. You've probably heard that the human body renews itself on a cellular level roughly every 7 years. From your skin to your hair, your nails. On a biological level, you're literally not the same person you were a decade ago. And maybe, just maybe, what feels like your life is falling apart is actually your whole self catching up to a change that was already happening underneath the surface without you even realizing it. And it just may have taken longer than 7 years to actually feel it clearly. But this is exactly the version of you that was always coming. The one that you didn't even know you needed to become. You're not lost, you're just new. Give yourself the grace to figure out what that means. Alrighty, loves. That's all I've got for you today, and you already know where to find me. Slide into the DMs with your situation, and you might just hear it on the next episode. And if this one hit home for you, share it with someone who needs it, because that is what we do. And remember, just because I've said this advice doesn't mean you have to take it. You're the maker of your own decisions, but you must also be willing to deal with the consequences of your actions if there are any. Until next time, take care of yourself.